think if you've ever invited me to play golf with you, too.
It's not true.
I would 1,000% take you up on it. And 3, I would feel very confident in playing against you.
Wow.
Why did he have to say that last part? Why?
I'm a yes.
Why did he say that last part?
Well, he's just, he's an athlete. He's a professional athlete.
I mean, you two just can't stand next to each other on the tee box. Let's just get that straight.
Yeah. No, you cannot.
The thing about guys like Dan is you watch
hit
him
first.
So offensive.
And we'll drive back to your box.
No, I was going to say, you'll have to, and then you'll have to drive 75 yards up to the red tee so he can tee off.
I can hit it a little bit. I don't know where it's going, but I can hit it a little bit.
We fixed your swing that one day.
My God. Orlovsky, what's going on? Thank you for hanging with us.
What's going on?
You watched a slate of preseason games. You watched a lot of interesting quarterback situations. We have all been kind of thinking about this in our brain over the last little bit. What stood out to you first and foremost? Like, what did you learn about quarterback play this weekend from, I think, let's start with one of the young guys who stood out for you.
Yeah, I'll go back to last night, and the standout is coaching. Just, it matters so much. It's, and I'm not going to make like the, oh my gosh, Caleb Williams is going to go win MVP thing, but if we're just taking off of what last night was, he's good enough to one day. If we're just taking last night off what it was, he was flawless when it comes to what you wanted to see. No one wanted to say, man, I don't know if Caleb's is athletic enough to go run around and make plays in the league, but it was holds the ball too long, doesn't really get the ball out on time, is constantly, hitching in the pocket, not seeing it and trusting it and letting it go. That wasn't the case last night. And there was a confidence, there was a conviction. I looked at it and I said he threw the ball 10 times. 2 of the throws were throwaways. One of them was a bootleg. So for the 7 throws that he threw within the pocket, 6 of them were either on his first hitch or no hitch at all.
Wow.
That tells me he's seeing it. That tells me he's confident. That tells me he knows what he's doing with the football. And is there a reality of like, yes, that number 1 option was open often? For sure. But that's not his fault. So then the coaching, you sit there and go, man, that was good. The one time when he got to his second hitch, he got to the second part of the progression. So overwhelmingly hopeful and confident, impressed by what I saw last night from Caleb, and just that coaching matters. Is there Buffalo's playing as basic coverage as they can play? Yeah. Reality to that? Yes. I mean, that was the most basic coverage he will see all season, but he did his job. And so the takeaway is, man, that coaching just matters, and tip of the hat to them, and we'll see where it goes from there. I'm still sitting there saying it's going to take a long period of time for the ownership and the mastering of it. Going to Cleveland, I was really impressed with what Shedeur did last week. Mm-hmm. I was equally, if not more, impressed with what Dillon Gabriel did this weekend. I thought Gabriel was awesome. Yeah, I thought his tape was great. He made some really tight coverage, elite ball placement throws. I thought he moved in the pocket really well. They went under center, something he didn't do a ton at Oregon. I don't think the interception's all on him. Yes, he at the end of the day makes the final decision, but there's a lot that goes into that ball being picked off, let alone a pick 6. Mm-hmm. The fumble I do put on him, but just some tight coverage throws that you're sitting there going, man, that's really, really, really good ball placement versus coverage that's pretty good. So I thought he was really interesting. I think it makes the decision-making even more interesting in Cleveland. And I think it's going to be, by all reports, Joe as the starter.
That's what it feels like.
Who do they name as QB2? Like, who's going to be QB2 then?
Yeah.
I'll go to Indy. I was really impressed with Anthony, and I can't quote Anthony Richardson for some reason, man. I just
we're believers, man.
Yeah,
believe ours.
That's right.
We're believers.
Believe ours. Just physically, he looked really good and played fast, and the ball went to the right place often. So, I don't know what they're going to do, but it's hard for me to not name him the starting quarterback if I'm Shane Steichen.
Wow.
That was going to be my follow-up for you, Dan. Out here in Indy, obviously that's the biggest thing. We made a sign with Xavier Howard, but the quarterback naming QB1 is the hugest thing we're going into this season. What did you see preseason from both of these guys that will make an argument for either one to be QB1? I know you say you don't want to quit, AR. We believe ours for sure.
We believe ours.
But where are you at? What you need to see from either one of these guys to be named a starter?
I go back to week 1, okay? So against Baltimore, I thought Daniel was sharp. I thought Daniel got the ball because, like D-Butt, they got really talented guys, right? On offense, there's 3 or 4 guys Downs is really good, and A.D. Mitchell's really good, and Pittman's obviously a really big-time player, and then they got Mo Alley Cox, and then Warren looks and you're like, just get him the ball. I thought Daniel did that in week 1 versus Baltimore relatively sharply, and then Anthony had the moment of the fumble, and you're like, God bless, dude, just figure it to freak out.
Yep.
And you get that small body of work. And then this past weekend, I watched Daniel, first quarter 8:28, misses a touchdown. First quarter 4:03, misses a touchdown. I thought the ball down the sideline, first quarter 2:08 to Warren, nice throw. And so, this ball, nice throw. Guy's wide open, but nice throw, okay? And then Anthony, I go, good out, good keeper, really good sail, really nice clean stop, played fast. 40 yards, a 40-yard throw, the elite throw with 1:11 in the second quarter. So I thought Anthony was really impressive this past week, and I think D-Bud, I settle on this, and I don't know the building well enough. If you name Daniel, do you lose Anthony? If you name him, do you lose him?
Should that?
And
play
then the reality of
is that? I mean,
if they're even, right? Because even on the other side, like if you start AR, can you ever go away from him then? Because then you lose him mid-season.
We always said the locker room knows, because we only see the preseason games, which are, it's a glorified live scrimmage practice. But the guys see both of these guys take reps at the 1s, reps at the 2s. You see them in and out of huddle. You see them interact with, coaches and players, and you see the whole thing. So when Shane names the starter, it shouldn't be a surprise to the locker room. It should be maybe some people outside. But inside that locker room, Anthony knows either he won the job or he lost, and the same thing with Daniel. So as the head coach, when you're making that's why you're getting paid the big bucks. And
it's also, D-Bud, it's also the variable of he needs to play. And so if you name Daniel the starter, like my thought is, you're kind of saying, all right, we're moving on from him. Because if you're naming Daniel the starter, you're naming Daniel the starter in the hopes that he plays well enough that your guys are winning games and you're a competitive football team and he's the guy for the year. Well, then you're not. Anthony's going into year 4 without playing football. We're having a Trey Lance situation then all over again. And so I'm happy that I don't have to make the decision, because there's parts of me that sit there and see it in a lot of different ways.
Man, I want to go to Tone in a second, but I think you're right, Orlovsky, and this is part of the issue. Is it should be who's the best quarterback, play the best quarterback. That's not. I mean, these things don't exist in a vacuum, and so it's if let's say Daniel's the starter, then to me it's it's over. Anthony Richardson is at some point going to be on another team. He is going to be Trey Lance. It's the reality. It sucks. And I agree he needs to play, and I kind of would like to see him play. But if that's what's best for the team, then I think that's what Steichen has to do. But it is not these decisions do not, unfortunately, exist in a vacuum. Tone, go ahead.
Yeah, Dan, I had a question for you, because I saw you guys talking about it this morning, but we were prepping for the show, so I didn't really get to hear what you said. You guys were running the highlights of Justin Fields, and it didn't look great this weekend, and there's been reports out of camp that it hasn't looked incredible. What are you? Because I know you've always been a Justin Fields believer, and I was last year as well. Has it reached a point where hey, this needs he needs to prove himself right now? What have you seen so far?
Yeah, Justin was really disappointing the other night. I don't think he saw coverage. It was he just got the ball and threw it instead of trying to read. He played slow. And my one thing with Justin as a passer that has always been frustrating is physically, it just takes a long time for the ball to get out of his hands. That's why he's never been a quick game guy. Go back to the first start, when they called a bunch of quick game, and I'm like, what is going on? So that really hasn't grown, which is one thing that as a passer, I would like to see. I think he sees progressions fine. I think there's enough accuracy and all that. It just, come on, man, physically. So the other night was frustrating. The only thing I would say, Tone, is this, and while frustrating and I don't want to say concerning, I would be really surprised if this is the offense schematically they roll out in New York.
Agreed, yeah.
They haven't done anything when it comes to zone read. Very little RPO zone read stuff that we see out of some athletic quarterbacks. Very little, none designed quarterback read a run. And that should be the case. You would never want to show your hand in the preseason of what you're going to do. So I am holding off a little bit of like, dude, this could be a situation where, he's going to get 10 carries a game and they're going to be in the gun running all this zone read and the combination of stuff that we see with Lamar and Jaden Daniels and Kyler Murray and Josh Allen. And so, like, if they're going to do that, I'm not as doom and gloom. Mm-hmm. There's one way for the Jets to play this year. It's going to be great defense, run the football 40, 45 times a game. Don't get down by 10. They get down by 10, I think they lose. So I'm not pressing the caution button or the panic button right now, just because I don't think what we've seen from them scheme-wise is who they're going to be.
And this is why the preseason is so – I love it. I really love watching football, even if it's preseason football. But, like, I don't know what I'm watching because you're like, is this the fake offense or the real offense? And obviously we'll see. But, like, I would agree that if this is what it is, then they're going to have to play some – very, very good defense. Ty Schmidt, question.
Yeah, Dan, I'm sure people are probably sick and tired of hearing this, but at what point do you think the Stafford concerns become, like, legitimately real? Because it seems like, again, every week, hey, he's fine. If he had to play week 1 or if he had to play tomorrow, if it was a playoff game or whatever, he's going to go. But the more this carries on and we have questions about it, like, it seems like something is definitely going on here, and he's not getting any younger, and a back isn't exactly a good thing for a quarterback. Like, if you had to put this on a scale of 1 to 10, how concerned would you actually be with Stafford's back injury?
Right now, I'm a as one, like, I don't have concern.
Oh, wow.
What?
If you told me,
wow,
I don't. I don't. From what I know, this is not a functional thing or a capability thing. It's just a pain management, pain tolerance thing. I think that everybody knows he's like the toughest person on the planet type of thing. So that's not something that gives me cause for concern. Now, if it gets to next week, because I think the perspective and D-Butt, you would know this well, too, is, dude, that season and that one game they added makes this season so long. I know it's only one game, but it makes it so long. And this is one of those teams that's probably in the handful that, like, they don't think they could play into late January. They expect to play into late January. Mm-hmm. And so, trying to keep that long-term vision of we want him as healthy as possible in December and January. So, now, if he doesn't practice by next week, yes, my concern level would go up. But right now, I'm not overly concerned with it.
That's why, from the outside looking in, that's why I'm so concerned, because of who Stafford is, and you spent time around him, as a teammate. But I just know
there
these
are
type
things
of
that Dan has seen that probably these franchise quarterbacks, like, I know it's a long season, but they don't like missing reps.
Yeah.
And if you're talking about a pain tolerance or a pain threshold, that's like Andrew Luck, for instance, he was one of the toughest guys I ever played with. So when he started missing time and it was like, oh, he'll be back, but okay, it's an ankle, it's a calf. That was like early on, it was like concerned. Every day, every full practice he missed, it became more and more of a concern. Yeah. I have that same feeling with Matt. I know he's not a spring chicken, but these reps are valuable, especially with getting new weapons in there. Every year it's a new team, but you got Devontae Adams. Like, you want to get on the same page with that. So I'm concerned, especially when he's going to practice this day and then he doesn't. Saturday workout, then it's kind of murky. I'm concerned until he gets out there, and hopefully it's a bunch of nothing. But I'm concerned about 9 because he has been an
we also don't know who is the end-all, be-all, and why he's not practicing. Is this Stafford going, I can't practice today? Is this them going, hey, there's no need for you to practice?
Yeah.
Who's the person? Because I do agree with your point of, like, these guys want to be out there, and he's one of those people that loves being out there. But we don't know if it's him saying no. We don't know if it's Sean. We don't know if it's the doctors. We don't know the person that's making the final determination of saying, okay, you're not going on the field today type of thing. And so that I agree with that point. I'm just not overly concerned right now. Maybe, I'm jaded with my.
Are you not
overly
concerned because you saw Stetson raising hell out there this weekend?
Certainly hell.
Hey, actually, let me interrupt for a second. Let me interrupt. We have, I don't know if this is breaking news or not, but the Rams have just posted a little video. Matthew Stafford is now back at practice.
Okay.
So, Dan, good job.
I'm down to a 1.
I'm a 1 as well. And I mean, there is right there. That's great work right there. I mean, that looks like a relaxed, chill dude who's going to have a nice casual day at practice.
I've lost all worry.
And the Rams have been sort of providing updates on this, and it's been interesting to hear because it's like he's going to throw. He threw a lot, then didn't practice that week, and then wouldn't really say if he was going to throw Saturday. And my understanding of this was like we just want to get some improvement, just like a little bit of improvement, and then he can get back out there. Now he is back out there, so that is, I mean, if you're a Rams fan, or I don't know, let's just say someone who you're good friends with Matthew Stafford, this is a very, very good sign right now that he is walking back to practice.
Yeah, I think D-Butt, you grew up in the organization, but I remember our time in Indy, and he, much greater player than I was there type of thing. But I remember when Peyton and them were in their heyday, how they approached the offseason was directly correlated individually wise to how many snaps that person played in the previous season. So if you were a guy that played X amount of snaps, you were allowed organizational mandate to start your offseason training at a certain date. And then if you played 150 snaps more, you started your offseason work X amount of days later. And if you played X amount of snaps more, and so they kept pushing it because their whole philosophy was they were a team that fully believed that they were going to be playing 18, 19, 20 games. Mm-hmm. And so they wanted your offseason to start later because they knew your season was going to start later and then in turn go into the next season. So I just think it's an organization that has this mindset of where they are. They know that this year is an all-in year. They know that, and they know they can win the whole thing. And so they could ruin January by doing too much in August. And you can't really ruin anything else by starting late.
That's a great call. And really, we have seen teams treat this thing differently with the 17 game because they have so much time. And I was there for Cowboys-Rams joint practice. The Rams defense should be, feels like to me, comically good. Mm-hmm. So this is a very, very good team. Boss O'Connor has a question for you, Dan.
Yeah, Dano, you mentioned them kind of expecting to play into late January, early February, and granted, this is kind of just a opinionated question. August 18th is essentially the worst day of every year when it comes to the preseason. We're halfway through. We really haven't seen enough, and then also we aren't at actual football yet, so it's just one of those things.
August 18th does
How
suck.
do you feel about?
I've always hated this day. Just being totally honest.
Yeah, some people think it's a great day.
Do they?
Tiffany Lesher,
I haven't heard that.
Tiffany Lesher thinks it's a great day.
No. I mean, it's not like it's a bad day. It's just when we're talking about fodder, this is the worst day of the year by far. But to be honest, I'm kind of missing whatever you guys are talking about. But when it comes to we'll just stay on the West Coast, even in that division, Dan, it feels like the Niners are one of those teams that people have kind of forgotten about. And then you think of teams like the Raiders where, Geno Smith, who's played really good football, and people aren't really talking about them because of the Chargers and Broncos and Chiefs and things like that. But what do you think of those types of teams that aren't getting as much conversation but definitely could turn out to be, 11, 12 win type of team? Do you think the Niners are going to be back to that? Do you think some of these teams like the Raiders, Seahawks, even in that division as well?
That's the team.
That look very different?
Yeah, so I'm going to start geographically. So I think two teams that probably have not been talked about enough that I think are going to be really good teams are Seattle and Arizona. I think Seattle's going to be awesome, man. And Clint Kubiak, new offensive coordinator. And in preseason, they looked fantastic. Just what I watched them present the other night, it looked like a complete offense when it came to changing the snap count, shifting and motioning, different variations in the run game, changing the launch point of the quarterback, different pass games when it comes to sometimes they're trying to get the ball out quickly, sometimes they're trying to push the ball downfield, sometimes you want a play action concept. So I watched that and I'm going man, that looks to be a team that's under control. I think their defense, secondary-wise, will be fantastic once again. So Seattle looks to be, for a team, for me, everyone's talking about, and I'm one of them, Rams, NFC West division favorites, and I still, feel that way. But I think Seattle's going to be very much so in that conversation. Arizona is going to be really difficult to play against. I think Arizona with Jonathan Gannon just has an edge to them that is going to be like physical. They're going to play violent football. Sometimes when I watch their tape of defense last year, I go, I have no idea what this defense is doing in a way that
they
like,
got a good young coordinator, man.
Yeah, and like they were hurt last year at the defensive line position with their young, I think Robinson, who they took out of Missouri. He's healthy this year. They signed Sweat. It's Marvin Harrison's second year. So, like, I think Arizona's a player in that division as well. So those are two teams. The Raiders, yes, Gino, I'm a huge fan of. Brock Bowers is awesome. I still have concerns about the offensive line. I still have concerns about the defense. The 49ers, I'm a little hesitant on, man. I am. I want to see how Brandon Ayuk is when he comes back. Jennings has got a contract situation and some health situation that's going on. That offensive line has been depleted. That's the thing that probably hasn't gotten enough notoriety when it comes to the fall off of some of their talent. Their offensive line took some significant shots. That defense has lost a lot of talent. So, obviously I have a tremendous amount of respect for who they've been and who they're going to continue to be as far as long term. I don't know if they bounce back as quickly as maybe public perception has them. I still think I'm a little bit hesitant to see what they're going to be.
That's interesting. And I think you're right. You rightly point to the offensive line as like, all right, if a team is going to falter a little bit, like let's say the Raiders, who I think are going to be better, or the 49ers, like that's where the focus goes. Dan, you have been awesome. We appreciate you. I just have one last thing before we let you go.
Yes, sir.
Do you have any plans for today? Are you going to just like, do you want anything interesting going on today?
No, I'm working from like 7 to 10 tonight. So,
are you really?
Oh, my football?
Yeah. Long day.
Going on?
Interesting.
Long day.
Right.
Long day.
Well, I
No,
guess that's a
nothing
good-
interesting is
that's a
going
good,
on.
Sure.
Should we?
That feels like a present, maybe.
Yeah.
I would love a present.
We don't have a present, but we do wish you happy birthday.
Happy birthday,
Happy birthday, Dan.
Happy birthday, Dan.